Welcome back to Fox and Friends. Well, the CIA helped capture and kill bin Laden, but the Justice Department continues to investigate their interrogation methods.
Now members of Congress are calling on the Obama administration to stop the witch hunt and end their probe. So should the Department of Justice call off its case? Joining us from our D.C. bureau is former chief speechwriter for President Bush, Marc. Marc, thanks for being here this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So let's kick it off right away and just ask,
Sure.
What do you think the president will be saying today at the APOC conference?
Well, hopefully he'll be saying some of the things he didn't say in his speech last week. One of the things, you know, I worked on a lot of these Middle East speeches in the White House during my 5 years in the Bush administration. And what you leave out is often as important as taken as a signal as what you put in. The president didn't condemn Hamas terrorism. He didn't criticize the failures of Palestinian governance. And most importantly, he didn't rule out the right of return for Palestinian refugees. Why is that important? If 7 million Palestinians returned to Israel, it would be the end of Israel as we know it. They would be transformed from a Jewish state into an Arab majority state, and so it's never going to happen. And so the president needs to be very clear that that's off the table. The reason it's important is because the Palestinians use this as a negotiating card. They know that they're going to have to concede it if they want peace, just as Israel is going to have to make territorial concessions. But the president, by leaving that out while calling for the 1967 borders, he essentially tried to take away Israel's negotiating card while leaving the Palestinians with theirs. So it's very important that he reassure the Israelis where he stands in his speech today.
During the speech today, we're hearing, of course, that I don't know, messages or email messages or letters being sent out to the members who are attending. They're encouraging people in the audience to not boo the president while he's there today. This speech that he gave the other day has inflamed.
Oh, very much so. But think about where Israel is in the world today right now. Prime Minister Netanyahu has been very courageous in endorsing the Arab Spring, even though it's been terribly unsettling for Israel. They lost a strong friend in Mubarak. The more democracy there is in the Middle East, the more danger there is that anti-Israel sentiment will translate into government policy in some of these countries. Then on top of that, you have Hamas being brought back into the fold in the Palestinian territories, which is the Palestinian equivalent of al-Qaeda. And you have the Palestinians doing this push at the UN for a declaration of recognizing a Palestinian state. So Israel is under a lot of pressure. They're going into this bar fight in the UN, and the only person who has their back is the United States. Their only friend who can stand up for them, and their friend, supposedly the President of the United States, slapped them in the face the other day with that speech. So he needs to make clear to Israelis that the United States has their back, that we're in this fight together, that Israel is our friend, and we're going to stand with them, and we're not going to throw them under the bus.
Marc, there's also been a growing opposition within Congress in regards to the Department of Justice investigation into CIA interrogators. What would you like to see the administration doing now?
They should drop this investigation right now. Look, the people who got us the information that led us to Osama bin Laden, in a normal world, these people would be given medals. In the Obama administration, they've been given subpoenas. There was an investigation into allegations of abuse during the Bush administration. The CIA Inspector General looked into it. He sent his recommendations over to the Justice Department. It was reviewed by career prosecutors, not Bush officials, career prosecutors who declined to prosecute them for any abuses. They said there was nothing to prosecute. Eric Holder came into office, and within a few months reopened that investigation, appointed a special prosecutor, and didn't even read the memos prepared by the career prosecutors explaining why there was no case. So, you know, this is something that I think there's broad agreement on. Even John McCain last week, who opposes the CIA interrogations and the techniques that were used, said these people shouldn't be prosecuted. And I think it's time to drop it right now.
All right, Marc, the former chief speechwriter for President George W. Bush. Thanks so much. Always great to see you here on the show.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.